Oh, hello, hello. Yeah, yeah. I even cut one down to a video, and I keep looking at it, which is probably why I wanted to make another one. No, uh, sometimes I live stream just because it seems like I should, and like I was sitting there. I don't know if you know, but I'm trying to deal with my relationship and grow some discipline by resonance with Battlestar Galactica again, and I ended up having to buy through YouTube with the Shadow Cabal's generous donations. The episode I'm watching at the moment. Thank you, Shadow Cabal. And it's here's a tiny piece I might get away with playing for you. Uh, 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 uh.
We have our own fleet now. How much longer do we need to keep playing follow the leader?
We have a fleet because people believe Rosalind's going to lead them to Earth.
She's a fraud. You don't believe her, do you?
No, but I believe in the power of myth.
And that's as far as I've gotten into the episode. And I think, see, the thing is, I think I missed it the first time around. These two episodes, when they used to air one at a time during the week, and like maybe even when I was watching the replays, because I don't recall what happens when they go into the tomb of Athena, but I know they're going to the tomb of Athena, and you know I now have an Athena fetish thanks to True Stream Media. So, but it's like I couldn't get to that part of the episode yet because like things wanted to be streamed, and I don't know if you know this, but once upon a time we had somebody in the Hive Mind and comment section mainly named Janice, and she apparently is no longer with us, and the Substack failing recurring charges make me believe it to be true. And so it reminded me that part of what I do, why I do what I do, is because I never know who's actually virtually not alone out there, or just I mean, some of it's the work.
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
Now, apparently, the person who was setting up the stream wanted it to be a big one because they called it Fractal Shadow Faith and put Greatest Fears as the title. So that's gonna make for an interesting thing. I bet if we can get to that part of the show. We do have some other things on a card. A few days ago I was looking for this, and I found it, and now I can show you. I can show you some of the sweet, innocent this person's creativity from back when. And apparently, in this anthology of things the class wrote, there were six pieces from me. And so, if you'd like to run them as lottery numbers, they're on pages. The pages are 11, 14, 28, 36, 49, and 50. And I'll be reading you a special selection from that tonight because why not? Why not? It's a Fractal Shadow Faith Greatest Fear stream. And we're not getting to that yet.
Oh, shoot. Where was I going with this? Attention.
Let me... attention.
I saw you toss the kites on high above the birds about the sky, and all around I heard you pass like lady skirts across the grass. Oh, wind blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud a song. I saw the different things you did, but always you yourself you hid. I felt you push, I heard you call, I could not see yourself at all. Oh, wind blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud a song. And you that are so strong and cold to blow, where are you, young or old? Are you a beast, a field and tree, or just a stronger child than me? Oh, wind blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud a song.
Now, Zacharias asked a very important question. Is what percentage do we have to kick back when we win? And of course, the answer is absolutely zero, Slack, because I know that you know.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
So there's no mandatory kickback, but if you want to lift a brother up, you could do so with like the last opportunity to do so in the Hive Mind chat. Anyway, as pinned now, the Wisconsin Death Grift final chance at reaching our little goal. Our little goal is presented to you now. And now that that's out of the way, here's her savings throws against mind control, survival, social wisdom, or heart. Choose. Oh, survivalist, that's a 2 for you today. A 2. Oh, holy. Sorry, Slack, no bonuses for you. That's a nat 1. Look, you can. I will make you so you can see it. That stop being so shiny. Now you can see, I bet. Yeah, see, look, it's a nat 1 you got. Okay, and then lovers of wisdom. That's 9, a number 9 for you. Hard folks, you got the Baker's Coven. Indigo Kid's almost making it with the Prime 19. Prime 19.
The list?
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right? What room? I want to cast Magic Missile. The room where he's casting all these spells from. He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
All that's sacred comes from you. Dedication, not even true. With no power, nothing to do, I still remember. Why don't you remember it? We walk I remember it. Oh, 44 seconds of it. No hive mind has ever endured so much as you on the death machine we call Chad's Hypno Branding. Casino card for you survivors is a 3 of diamonds. Welcome, everybody. This is the Greatest Fears Fractal Shadow Faith stream. It could have been one of your greatest fears. It was more than 30 seconds of the Chad Hypno. And now you faced it and survived. Way to attack the darkness.
I'm attacking the darkness.
As it came to pass, while I was looking for things to stall with before I wanted to get onto that part of the card, there was I found this
system that is allowing all this destruction to go unchecked. So there again is the mixture of the unhinged or unmoored dynamic ideas that you can't do anything with. The paralysis of America is a paralysis of moral patterns. Morals can't function normally because morals have been declared intellectually illegal, and we're talking about social morals, by the subject-object metaphysics that dominates present social thought. These subject-object patterns were never designed for the job of governing society. They're not doing it. When they're put in the position of controlling society, of setting moral standards and declaring values, and when they then declare that there are no values and no morals, the result isn't progress. The result is social catastrophe. And that's everything I was saying about these ideas floating around unmoored. In the second part of this chapter, Persig uses this 5-point moral model he's just discussed in a true life situation. And that is the social turmoil of the 60s and its aftermath. And the curious thing is so many parallels with our own culture. And in this case, we're going to talk about racial issues. So just like today, the liberal intellectuals love the liberal underdog and hate the conservative underdogs. Cops are hated. They were called the pigs back then. They're blue-collar, uneducated thugs, whereas
Now, for a little backstory of why this clip happened to be the clip that ended up being played, I will tell you this much. earlier in an encounter, someone accused me of not believing in God just because I thought human beings were abominations. And as as I was trying to build my defense against that claim, I was drawn to mind the scene where they're educating River in Serenity, and she says the meddling. And I thought I'd go to this-little-corner.com because I'm sure I played that clip before and search for meddle. And it turned out that at the 33 minutes into this thing that Sevilla did, she says the word meddle, and that's how it came to pass that we're watching it now.
Minority criminals are simply that way due to oppression, and that their rights have been systematically denied. The cops' morality is social, an anathema of the intellectuals, whereas the morality of these criminals, because not any reason to do with their own biological phenotypes or anything like that, which he's going to talk about, but because in the ghetto, biological law of the streets now rules. And the intellectuals have sided with biological morality, and this is what you get. This is what you get when you deny that things like marriage and going to church can really help people who may not be.
That was the 32nd minute and the 33rd second. Welcome, Red Pill. Thank you so much for taking us so much closer to our goal of getting the car tires and stuff checked before we drive to Chad's, on top of the gas money to drive to Chad's, etc., as explained in the Wisconsin Death Grift. Blue Church Blackjack, indeed. Oh, come here. It's getting stuck on this card. Hold on. That's not a fair shuffle. Welcome, Red Pill. Welcome. Have a music break. And KJ, are you hating on the 3-letter agencies out there? There is no agency. It's just people LARPing. Quit giving them a hard time. Everybody's got to work. Jeez, man. Jeez. And the Blue Church card of the show. Probably ought to be this one right here. Hey, it's the Ace of Spades again. Good to see you, old friend.
Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom.
Who may not have the same financial resources, the upper middle class does. So it projects onto, they've separated themselves, they have the money and the power, and they project those morals onto, let's just say, more impoverished people.
Now what will that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime? I don't know.
And they're mad at the blue collar people because they retain some of these morals that they now think are, just bunk. And they annihilate, because they tend to meddle with poor people, which is, part of the problem. They get in there and they meddle too much with these ideologies and strip away any kind of social safeguard that poorer societies have. And what you end up with is, again, law of the streets. And then they say, well, this.
They meddle with the poor people, she said. Of course, of course.
Okay, they're okay because they're oppressed. That's the reason. When they don't even see that they themselves have caused the problem. And that is something that the elite will, upper middle class, ruling class, whatever you want to call, will not admit. But that is that I think is a fact. And
well, I hope it doesn't get us banned, Sevilla, but that's what the serendipity said for us to play. Redfield says all this talk of agency makes me wonder if Grizz glows. But then I hear him talk and think, no way, man. No way. No, see, I'm trying to be a friendly face for all the guys that have to work and do this infiltration and monitoring of crazy people. I'm trying to make a stream that's like cheers for those guys. That's because, why not? Why not? Now, before we get into the greatest fears and fractal shadow faith part of the stream, since I found this old thing, I'm gonna read everybody a story who wants to not go to sleep thinking about the fears. I'm gonna read you guys a little bedtime story that the person that was in this body many, many, many years ago, once upon a time, wrote down. So I hope you enjoy it. It's coming shortly.
Remember, there is no agency. We want what's best.
Life, death, and why teachers give homework by some guy with a legal fiction named a baseball player. What? No. A long, long time ago, when the world was still young, all of the people lived in a huge valley. Young people and old people lived together peacefully. No one grew up, no one grew old, and no one died. Everybody did the same thing every day. Time did not move. One day, Father Time wandered into this solar system and looked down at the Earth. He watched the people for many days and found them very, very boring. To change this, Father Time gathered all of his strength and set time into motion. Soon, the people did different things. Father Time saw that this was good and far more interesting. He left our solar system and went in search of other boring planets that he could help. After he had gone, death came from out behind the sun, where she had been hiding. She watched the Earth as Father Time had done. The people were changing. They grew up. The young grew up, and the old grew older. One night, Death came down to the surface and gathered all of the people of the valley. "People," she said, "I have the power to take life from all of you. However, I will spare most of you if half of you worship me." The people were very worried. For a long time, they talked amongst themselves. But finally, a young man stepped forward. "Mistress Death," he said, "I speak for all the men. We, the male half of all the people, will worship you. We will take life from others and send them to you." "Very well," she replied. "I will kill only those too old or too weak to serve me. I see several now." At that time, the very oldest of the people died. The remaining old people looked at the young people with resentment, for they knew death would take them first. Death then left to follow time, and all was quiet. The next night, Mistress Life, who had been following Death, came out from behind the moon. She went into the valley and gathered the people. "People," she spoke, "I have the power to replace those whom death has taken. I ask, will the women worship me, since the men cannot, for they worship death?" A young woman steps forward. Yes, Mistress Life. The women of the earth will worship you. We offer you all that we have. Then I accept, and your bodies will be the instruments of life, Mistress Life replied. Suddenly, all of the young women were pregnant to replace the dead. The old women looked around shocked. Life had missed them. They were not pregnant. One of them spoke. Mistress Life, have we offended you? You have not changed us. Life replied, your old bodies are too weak to support life. Oh no, where's the other page? Only the young will be used. Then she left to follow death. The old women looked at the young with resentment and jealousy. Several days later, Father Time returned. He looked down upon the earth and became concerned. The very old were dying without passing their knowledge on to the young. He pondered for many days and nights. Finally, he gathered the most intelligent of the old people. He instructed them with the knowledge that mankind was ready for and ordered them to pass it on to the young people. They did not want to, but they were afraid of Father Time's power. After giving these instructions, Father Time went back into space to watch the people from above. He was pleased, for the elders did as he had instructed. As he sat watching, however, he was being watched. Mistress Death watched him carefully from behind the sun. Eventually, her time for action came. With all the swiftness of a merciful death, she charged Father Time. They fought a ferocious battle, and all the while Life watched from behind the moon. Death struck Father Time with a fatal blow and stood over him, waiting to receive his power. Mistress Life seized the moment and attacked Death. They were locked in a death grip. The epic battle lasted for several days, and in the end, no one prevailed. Death and Life passed away at the same moment, and Father Time had died long before. The three great ones faded into history. Life on Earth continued. The elders taught and the young people learned. When they were not learning, the young would run and dance and play. The elders looked on this with jealousy because they could no longer do such things. One night, they decided to get their revenge. They gathered together and discussed what they would do. The resentment of how soon they would die, the inability to give life, and the loss of their childhood spurred them to invention. They called it homework, and it's been with us ever since. Oh, wait, it's Fractal Shadow Fate, the Greatest Fear stream. I'm Graham Grace. I have three more things on this card here, but a lot of times we talk about a sunum bonum or whatever, and it means like a thing that like you have your whole way of thinking, your whole frame, and then people just like hand you this little concept, and they're like, "Hey, hold this notion for a second," and you hold on the notion, and it's like, "Oh, look, I'm combinatorially explosive," and your whole frame goes, "What?" And that's another way to consider these sunum bonum moments. It's when the bishop says rearranges you. That's the pwah, you just contained an explosion, and kept it in your skull. And if you manage to put a frame around it and survive what the notion just handed you, then and like what the fractal shadow faith stream, it might be one of those for some of you. So, and I gave you savings throws. But in case you don't know what we mean by sunum bonum, and while I ready myself, you cool kids, here we go with Bishop Barron's fancy hit, Sunum Bonum.
That logo is called the meaning of music.
Can I just jump in? The mind and the intelligible form light up each other, light up each other. Each one illumines the other. So the objectively valuable addresses me. It rearranges me. It rearranges me. It's turned me upside down. What was the first song that rocked your world, changed you, that rearranged your consciousness? Like a Rolling Stone. Rock my world. Rock my world. Rock my world. Summum bonum. It's like summum bonum. It's like, yeah, there's a summum bonum. Rock my world. Summum bonum. It's like it really gets interesting. It's like summum bonum is this rock my world. It rearranges me. It's summum bonum breaking into my reluctant and recalcitrant consciousness. Summum bonum, bring it to the religious level. It's not you who've chosen me, it's I who've chosen you. And it's not you who've chosen me, it's I who've chosen you. And summum bonum, not you who've chosen me. Summum bonum, revelation. Summum revelation. Stunning objectivity, the good confronts us, changes us, and it doesn't let us go. And stunning objectivity, the good confronts us, changes us, and it doesn't let us go. And light up each other. Light up each other. Doesn't let us go. And light up each other. Summum bonum. Light up each other. Revelation. It's turned me upside down. What was the first song that rocked your world? Rocked your world. Summum bonum. It's like summum bonum. It's like, yeah, there's a summum bonum. Rock my world. Summum bonum. It's like it really gets interesting. Revelation is the ultimate expression of that. Revelation is the ultimate expression of that. Revelation is the ultimate expression of that.
So, anyways, I'm going to leave it at that.
There, that feels. It's gotten to the point where the algorithm has started putting it in my suggested bar. And I always think that's very nice. It does it with Casino, too. It's very good. You want some no? Let's see if I have one loaded. I think I moved all the no-nos to Thursday. Here's a Kung.
Something you could do that you are regarding as trivial, that you could do, that you would do, that would result in an actual improvement, but it's not a big enough improvement for you, so you won't lower yourself enough to take the opportunity.
Hi, this is Paul. I know.
Okay. Now I gotta get through things so I can get to things. Is the thing, because there's things on this card. I gotta get to this side of this card, but right now we're on this side of this card, and then we can get the Fractal Shadow Faith, which is this side of the card, and or Greatest Spheres. Once upon a time, blessings be to the Shadow Cabal, I was associated with a channel called The Sorting Myself Out, and I almost included a clip of it in my speech to the Ark, which is, please go give that video some views and let the algorithm think it's awesome. But it was my first of encounters of with Jonathan Pageau on a Halloween, and this was a piece of the product. This was a piece of the product.
Sectional things. Prince Charles has been talking about the Great Reset, and it was on the cover of Time magazine this month. The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab. This is it's a scary stuff. So now it's like a world movement to rethink of the entire society, in the world society, in terms of intersectional values. So it's happening, guys. It's happening right now.
It's a little overly artsy, honestly, but the thing of it is the guy on the bottom there was in the I was serving into the channel, so there was a friendship role thing happening. But in all of our discussions, there's this one thing that stuck with me, and if you go far enough back to know about finding your why, there's this guy who does the fractal brain theory called Why Sang or whatever. And he showed me this thing that you can find on YouTube as like a diffusion limited graph. And I think he called it a diffusion aggregate graph. But it's like they have this, basically it's a hopper, a Lado hopper of stuff with a center. And then for whatever reason, a thing will stick. And then for whatever reason, the thing will stick. And it makes these little trees. And I think that's kind of how our memories work. And so the sticky things are sticky for a reason. And all we can do is assume that, or guess at what those reasons might be and construct our frame based on that. But anyway, the thing that the guy on the bottom told me once that has always stuck with me is, because see, when in that period of my life, I was in a particularly this is just hell, like very Gnostic, like life is hell, this place is terrible, everything looks good on the surface, but right underneath is terrible corruption, and it's really like like, hey, let's keep the pharmacy people, drain their finances, and keep them alive until and then it's just disgusting. And the thing was, we had this talk about why this would be existence, and it was such that, like, because we wanted to play for real, and it's just like if you take the naive, connected to the God, like feel the love of God at all times kind of people, and you're like, hey, do you want to know what it's really like? It's like the never-ending story. And how, like, this book is a real book, it's not like the other books you read is dangerous. It's like that. It's like the same way that we would still open it and read it, is like we wanted to play for real. That's why we're here, and that you're sitting behind the fourth wall when you came in wanting to play the game for real is, well, that's what we're here for. Welcome to Fractal Shadow Faith. You believed it the whole time. Next on this card is the Reasonable Man, which is a fictional character. It's good to have in your head as a guideline of behavior. It's the character that gets tried, the version of you that gets tried in court. Like any reasonable person would have done this. Why did you do the different thing? And so there's this reasonable straw man legal term that wanted to be on the card for some reason. And also, as far as a book recommendation, for some reason, I wanted to bring up Marshall Brain, the prophet, who wrote the book Mana that I read a long time ago. And I wonder, I guess, what's he thinking about now? Let's marshal our brains and see what Marshall Brain is up to. Woo! We made it to the bottom of the card, and there's the yet unfinalized name New Lobster Monkey. You find the right comment section. You can help vote for his actual name. I think that's the one you vote on. That's the thumbnail. I'll check in with the Hive Mind chat, and then this side of the card, and Fractal Shadow Phase and Greatest Fears. Woo! Woo! YT, what you got? YT YouTube channel member Stephanie Christo says, "What's on your whiteboard?" And let's see if I can get it to focus. If I hide, no, it doesn't change the focus. But if you put it in the middle, maybe it'll focus on it. Hey, turn on the lights. Come on, do it. All right, now focus on it. No, it says spectacular specimen, and has a pyramid. And two like beetle creatures on the side of it. I don't. Sorry. There's Rascal too, by the way, and original painting. I was thinking about auctioning, and also on the whiteboard was this original artwork. I'm also thinking about auctioning. Hey, what do you know? That looks like a schizophrenic drew that. You guys are biased. Hey, MJ, good to see you. Good to see you too, Dr. Peter Marsh. And nice heart you have there. Red Pill says, did you guys ever look into the strawman stuff for sovereign citizens? That's one heck of a rabbit hole. You know what? I'll tell you what. Bonus to next stream saves. I'll give you a week worth of bonuses to saves, actually, to anybody who looks into the legal definition of heathen. The legal definition of heathen. That's a fun one. Jump this instance is what's written on this card, so it must be that, oh, look, someone, did you see that? What? We're up to 93% of the Wisconsin goal. Oh, yeah, that's because SC. Thank you. We're now that.
Oh, shoot, where was I going with this? Attention.
Fractal Shadow Faith and the Greatest Fears. Now, so I was telling you about sticky things and jump this instance. Okay, jump this instance. All right. How's this go? Well, it all ties back to Jumpgate because that's the universe I'd rather be saving. But apparently, the adults of this planet can't do things competently or benignly enough for me not to have to get involved, and I don't really have time to save the video game universe I'd rather be saving. But in my attempts that led me to try anyway, I got involved with the developer of the original game's new product. And one of the immediate things that was a variation from the game that I know and love to his new project was that he was going to do instancing. And now instancing in video game terminology means like, okay, so we set up this bad guy boss layer, okay? And I'm playing and I have Grimm's playing the game, and Neutrino's playing the game, and Red Pill's playing the game. And we can all go to the boss layer and we all beat the boss. But it's just our instance of that reality in which the boss gets beat. To everybody else, the mission is still available. It's still an unsolved meta object until your character beats it, and then maybe things change, maybe they don't. But that's an instance. It's like it's not one thing that happened where everybody gets involved. It's everybody gets to have their own little instance. And the reason this video game developer has cited for going with that model was for anti-entropic reasons. Now, as you know, we figure that life is love giving an FU to entropy by eating itself and existing within death. And as such, if we're but a collection of dreamers who have decided to dream the same dream, then it goes that the thing is it'd be like a video game in which there are instances, right? Like, say, for example, you go into your backyard and you see a little man on a dragonfly and he says, "Oi, come over here." And he tells you all about his people and his land or whatever. And then he flies off and you've got no proof or no evidence any of it happened. It happened in your instance, and it doesn't affect anything that doesn't affect the outside reality. Those resources to generate your reality can be used, it's really it's terribly more efficient on resources in an entropic situation if there's instancing or pockets of intelligibility and shared reality in this way. Now, in order for us to be in the game and enjoy the game and feel disconnected from the dream or the dream making and still use the image-bearing capacity of the creator, the divine spark within us that use that creative potential to form the reality around us, is the thing I refer to as fractal shadow faith. Now we've had the deity come and become embodied and tell us that verily, verily, if you tell that mountain to move and you had just a little bit of faith, it would, which means all of the faith that you have, the extent you are bearing the image of the creator, all of it that you have is not available to you, so you don't have it. And if you had just a little bit poking through, then you could make that mountain move, which means all of the faith you have access to is being mispurposed to shape the reality with the things you don't necessarily consciously know you believe. Like, for example, because you don't believe that aliens are going to land in your backyard, there's so much shadow faith put into the notion that aliens won't be landing in people's backyards. It's like if we secretly hold on to the notion with our shadow faith that everything's gonna be okay, you'd be amazed what we'll be able to survive just because of that amount of shadow faith into the notion everything's gonna be okay. And this relates to greatest fears in that one of the sticky things, there's like what's the proper orientation for life? Merrily. Why? Because life is but a dream. Is that any reason to orient it merrily? No, but trust us, merrily, merrily, merrily. It's the best, because I don't know why, but it is. Okay, but it's sticky. Merrily is sticky. And what else was sticky is the greatest fears. Like, our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And it's to spin that out into one of my personal greatest fears is the Schindler's List programming, the scene at the end where he's like, I could have given this little button and saved another 4 lives. Like that part, the fact that we sat idly by behind Set's fourth wall with all of the power that we had available, not doing anything because Uncle Ben told us with great power comes great responsibility. And so the greatest fear is we're powerful beyond measure, because then we'd be responsible beyond measure. And Nobody's got time for that.
Don't worry, Mom. I know all about cannibalism. I saw it on TV.
See? It's okay. You saw it on the television.
I don't want to know how things are to be. I want to exert action as long as I live, so that the sort of things which should, in my opinion, be, have more chances of being. If they're all set, it doesn't interest me anymore to see the year 2000 than it interests me to see the year 1000. The merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is not set. If they're all set, the merit of the future is that it is not set. The merit of the future is that it is the area in which we can exert our will, exert our efforts, and try to validate our values. That is the merit of the
future. All right. The best way to cover up the fact that someone didn't die is to get a bunch of idiots to say they didn't kill themselves, because then you assume the person was murdered and is dead, but that wasn't the body double. Look at the ears. That's what some people would say if they were wrong, but the right thing is that he did unfortunately die by suicide, right, Mr. YouTube man? Whatever. Thanks everybody for being with us for this greatest fears. Wait, there was one more thing. What? Okay. In a situation where reality is generated on the fly, the past and how things in the past don't change, but we always wish we could change the past. The thing is, so long as you're programmed to think whatever like you can go change the back programming and have the front still think that's the past. There's no reason to think that both the present and the past don't spring from the now, and we only experience it this way because that's how it's fun to experience. Everybody have a lovely evening and the sweetest of dreams.